I wanted to have somebody who was well-known, big star, whatever in the movie to help.
It wasn't a scandal. It wasn't betrayal. It was something far more uncomfortable: vulnerability. When Ben Affleck was asked why his marriage to Jennifer Lopez ended, he didn't hide behind Hollywood charm or PR polish. He simply said, "The reason I don't want to share that is just sort of embarrassing. It feels vulnerable." And for a man who's spoken publicly about addiction, depression, and humiliation, to call something too vulnerable says everything. Because what could possibly be more painful than reliving every mistake of your life on the world's stage? The answer is brutally simple: realizing the problem wasn't your partner, it was you. When Ben finally broke his silence in 2025, he didn't deliver scandal. He delivered truth. Quiet, devastating, and painfully human. He told GQ, "There's no scandal, no soap opera, no intrigue. It's just a story about people trying to figure out their lives and relationships the best they can." It sounded calm, respectful, mature, but beneath that restraint was the real confession. Their marriage didn't collapse because of fame. It collapsed because of who they are. It started like a movie. 2002, the set of Giggly. The film was a disaster, but their chemistry was undeniable. Hollywood had a new obsession: Bennifer. Everywhere they went, cameras followed. Magazines called them the perfect couple. They weren't just in love, they were a brand. But within 2 years, the pressure crushed them. Their 2004 wedding was called off, with excessive media attention cited as the reason. Behind that phrase was the truth. The spotlight that made them famous also destroyed them. Ben once said he felt like their relationship stopped belonging to them, that it had been kidnapped by the public. He hated that feeling. Jennifer, meanwhile, was thriving under the attention, glowing, performing, creating. For 17 years, they lived separate lives. Jennifer married Mark Anthony. Ben married Jennifer Garner. Both had children, both built empires, both tried to heal. Then, in 2021, they found their way back to each other, older, softer, hopeful. It felt like fate, a second chance written by the universe itself. The internet called it Bennifer Reborn. To fans, it was proof that true love could survive anything. By July 2022, they were married in Las Vegas. A month later, they hosted a grand ceremony at Ben's Georgia estate. Jennifer wore white. Ben cried. The world believed this time would be forever. They told everyone they'd grown, that they were older, wiser, healed. But sometimes, love doesn't mean transformation. It just means repetition with more experience. In February 2024, Jennifer Lopez released The Greatest Love Story Never Told, a documentary inspired by their rekindled romance. It was supposed to be a celebration of love, art, and redemption. But what the world saw wasn't a fairy tale. It was an unraveling in real time. Jennifer glowed, expressive, passionate, radiant. Ben didn't. His body language said what his words couldn't. "I don't belong here." There's one moment fans still talk about. Jennifer tells him she's turning their relationship into art. An album, visuals, a film. Ben smiles politely, nods, but his jaw tightens. His eyes drift away. You can see it. The quiet discomfort of a man trying to love someone in a language he doesn't speak. He had promised her honesty, but what he gave her was silence. The silence of a man trying not to drown in someone else's world. 20 years earlier, that same exposure had destroyed their first engagement. Now it was happening again. Only this time, the cameras were rolling. That documentary wasn't a celebration. It was a confession, one Jennifer didn't even realize she was making. Ben Affleck is a man who craves quiet. He finds safety in silence, peace in privacy. Jennifer Lopez, she thrives in exposure. She glows under the lights. Her life is her art. Ben once said, "You don't marry a ship captain and then say you don't like going out in the water." He wasn't trying to be clever. He was admitting something devastating. He knew exactly who Jennifer was, and still convinced himself he could handle it. But when reality arrived, the interviews, the cameras, the storytelling, he realized he hadn't changed at all. It wasn't that Jennifer misled him, it was that he misjudged himself. Jennifer's world is performance. Not because it's fake, but because it's how she feels. Her art is how she processes life. For her, sharing isn't exposure, it's healing. For Ben, privacy isn't preference, it's survival. He's watched tabloids weaponize his pain. To him, silence equals control. To Jennifer, silence equals distance. So when she poured their story into songs, films, and interviews, Ben felt violated, while Jennifer felt inspired. Neither of them was wrong. They were just wired differently. And that difference, expression versus protection, would become the quiet battle that ended their marriage. Back in 1999, long before Bennifer ever existed, Ben Affleck gave an interview to Playboy. He said when he's unhappy in a relationship, He doesn't leave. He stays. He tries to fix it. He buries resentment until it turns into what he called passive-aggressive rage. Decades later, that pattern repeated itself. He didn't storm out when things felt off. He smiled through it. He walked red carpets he didn't want to walk. He appeared in a documentary he didn't believe in. To the world, it looked like devotion. But inside, it was decay. Because silence isn't always patience. Sometimes it's surrender. Ben thought love could rewrite who he was. But love doesn't rewrite people. It reveals them. And when Ben finally said their divorce felt embarrassing and vulnerable, it wasn't new pain. It was old pain repeating itself. He wasn't embarrassed by failure. He was embarrassed by recognition. The realization that he'd made the same mistake twice. By April 2024, 2 months after the documentary's release, they quietly separated. Jennifer attended the Met Gala alone. That same night, Ben moved into a new house. No public statement, no drama, just distance. August 20th, 2024, exactly 2 years after their Georgia wedding, Jennifer filed for divorce. The date wasn't random, it was symbolic, closing the circle on a love that couldn't survive the truth. By January 2025, it was official. No prenup, no spousal support, just two people dividing a $68 million mansion and a mountain of memories. When Ben finally spoke in March 2025, fans expected emotion, maybe regret, but all he said was, "This is somebody I have a lot of respect for." Ben also said once, "My temperament is to be more reserved and private than hers." That's the most polite way of saying, I couldn't survive her world. Jennifer Lopez has spent her entire career turning her life into art, heartbreak into music, love into film, vulnerability into power. Ben Affleck has spent his life running from that same exposure, guarding his privacy like oxygen. She wanted to love him out loud. He wanted to love her in silence. She believes intimacy means sharing everything. He believes intimacy means keeping something sacred. Two kinds of love, one expressive, one quiet, both real and completely incompatible. And maybe that's why they were drawn to each other, because opposites don't just attract, they fascinate. Ben saw in Jennifer what he wished he could be, fearless, expressive, unapologetic. Jennifer saw in Ben what she longed for, calm, stillness, grounding. But over time, what once felt like balance started to feel like suffocation. He needed less, she needed more, and love got lost somewhere in between. After the divorce, their healing couldn't have looked more different. Jennifer was honest. On the Today Show, she said she spent the summer of 2024 learning to be good on her own. She wasn't pretending, she was transforming. That's Jennifer's superpower. She turns pain into creation. Every heartbreak becomes a song. Every ending becomes art. Ben, on the other hand, went quiet. Measured interviews, calm tone, careful phrasing. He said all the right things, but his silence said more. Because when someone says, "I have a lot of respect for her," what they often mean is, "I'm still hurting, but I don't want to talk about it." He called their breakup normal, but what he really meant was too painful to explain. For Jennifer, self-expression healed her. For Ben, it exposed him. The woman accused of oversharing used vulnerability to move forward. The man obsessed with privacy used silence to survive, both coping, both protecting themselves. But only one seemed to grow, because while Ben maintained composure, Jennifer reclaimed her identity. By the end, there was no villain, no scandal, no betrayal, just two people who loved each other deeply, but were built for different worlds. Ben thought he'd changed, that years of therapy, recovery, and reflection had made him ready to live in Jennifer's orbit. But when he stepped back into her light, the flashing cameras, the interviews, the storytelling, he realized he hadn't evolved at all. He was still the man who needed quiet to breathe, and she was still the woman who believed love isn't real until it's shared. He thought boundaries would save them. She thought transparency would. Both were wrong, because love doesn't rewrite who you are, it reveals it. You can love someone completely and still not be able to live in their world. Ben didn't marry the wrong woman, he married the right woman for someone else. And when he said, "You don't marry a ship captain and then say you don't like going out in the water," he was really confessing. I knew exactly who she was, and I still convinced myself I could handle it. He couldn't. The greatest love story never told was never meant to be told at all. Because some endings aren't failures, they're truths. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez didn't fall out of love. They fell out of alignment. He needed silence. She needed sound. And between those two frequencies, their love quietly disappeared. In the end, it wasn't scandal or betrayal that ended them. It was the most human thing of all, vulnerability.